Did you know that a ton of Fortnite's most memorable updates were actually created by us? Today we're going over 15 updates that were designed by the players. First up, we have Haunted Hills. That's right, an entire POI. Back in November 2017, a concept was posted on the Fortnite Reddit. They picked the exact name and even the iconic bridge design that was in that concept. Epic must have loved it so much because literally 7 weeks later, it was an entire POI in Season 2 when that dropped. Let me know if you know about all of these, and I guarantee you the last one will blow your mind. These two players, Rust and Smiley, were driving around in Fortnite when they accidentally drove into a rift near Loot Lake, and when they hit the ground, they actually glitched through the map and died instantly. We've seen this happen plenty of times, but they posted it on Reddit and got some traction, and someone from Epic even left a comment. A couple weeks later, a car and 2 gravestones were added to the game at the exact spot. It's not a POI, but it's definitely a cool way to commemorate that moment. I think a lot of you know there have been so many skins in Fortnite that have been designed 100% by fans. The new male Manic skin, for example, Tomato Head, Meowscles, Aura, Isabel. The list goes on and on. But one wholesome story is about the Tender Defender. A big Fortnite fan made a concept of a skin that's a giant chicken and got his dad to post it for him. And another user ended up improving the concept, fleshing out the skin, giving it a little bit more life. And the community loved it so much. Epic loved it too. And a few months later, they dropped the Tender Defender in the item shop. Next one is somewhat of a forgotten LTM. 50 versus 50 was the first real LTM, but it was kind of all over the place and it didn't really play out like the trailer showed it, where 2 teams have giant bases fighting each other. A Reddit user decided to post a new concept for 50 versus 50 that would fix this issue. This got a ton of support, and about a year later, Fortnite got inspired by this to create Food Fight LTM. There was literally a giant wall in the middle of the map, and teams would have to build a huge base on both sides, one of them being the giant tomato and the other one being Der Burger Head. And they get to face off, and this was fun. And I remember playing this way back in the day a few times, but it's been gone for a very long time. Did you guys know that Naked the Bus Driver was basically an update created by a fan? It does seem pretty random to add it now that you think about it, but a Fortnite player named Cody Ketty didn't think so. He went on about how since he was a young boy, he dreamed of being able to express his gratitude to the bus driver, and he made a petition for this and posted it, and it got thousands of signatures. At that point, Epic decided to add the ability to thank the bus driver into the game. Here's one for the OG watchers. I mean, everyone nowadays knows about the icon skins, but those only started in chapter 2. What a lot of people don't remember is people were begging Epic creators for creator skins for most of chapter 1. All of the big streamers were getting little concepts here and there, especially the king of Fortnite, Ninja. Ninja was like streaming, and he jokingly said, "I'll take anything, Epic. You know, it doesn't have to be a skin. It could be a sword with a plunger going through it." And then Epic decided to do just that. They added a sword plunger and they called it Plunja in reference to Ninja. But that wasn't the first creator cosmetic either. Super OGs will know that CDN the Third was one of the biggest streamers in the game back in the early days. His community is known to this day for being extremely positive, and the symbol that he has for his community is a plus sign in between some brackets. So when Season 3, Chapter 1 dropped, in the Battle Pass, there was an emote with the positive, plus sign with the brackets in the same color format of CDN the Third. If you're a new player to this game, you just build and things basically work. OG players know that that was not always the case. There was a lot of bugs and issues back then. It was also very hard to edit the floors because you couldn't see your edit through the floor. You were pretty much just guessing. And a user on Reddit decided to make a concept of a really clean graphic of what it would look like to edit your floor pieces. Epic saw this and decided to add it to the game. It's one of those things you don't really think about when you're playing, but the game has come a long way in terms of having a lot of quality of life updates to both building and just the game in general. Back in Season 5, Ninja and Lupo were playing in the summer skirmish when a giant beam of electricity struck near them, and it formed a giant cube that we now know as Kevin the Cube. You can bounce on this cube, and if you shot at it, you got zapped. This was crazy back in the day, and everyone was talking about the cube on Reddit, especially because it happened in the middle of a tournament. Unfortunately, though, it got to be too much. Every single post on Fortnite's Reddit was about the cube, and they would not stop talking about it. The Reddit mods unfortunately had to make a decision to not allow posts with the word cube in it, but that wasn't going to stop people from talking about it. The Fortnite community eventually started to try to give the cube a name to get around this ban, and most people were calling it Kevin the Cube. Epic liked the name so much that they decided to stick with it as an official name. And actually in chapter 1, after the butterfly event, they added a back bling called Little Kev, which is a little cube you can put on your back, pretty much confirming the name that the community gave Kevin the Cube. Obviously, one of the most famous stories of a fan getting something in the game was during the Boogie Down contest. Creators and players were challenged to come up with a new Fortnite dance, and Epic would eventually pick a winner and put their emote in the game. There was hilarious clips of Myth and Daquan trying to create their own dance, but by far the fan favorite was this random kid dancing in his room with an orange shirt, and everyone called him the Orange Shirt Kid. But when the results were announced, he didn't win. The community was outraged, they were upset, and they started a hashtag called Justice for Orange Shirt Kid. Thankfully, Epic listened. When Season 4 dropped its Battle Pass, we got the now legendary emote, Orange Justice. Epic doesn't always implement ideas so fast. Sometimes it can take 3 years. Back in Season 6, Chapter 1, when you pick up a shotgun or any weapon, it would always go to your first slot and then it would just fill out. But someone created a concept for preferred weapon slots where you could choose if a shotgun went into your first slot or a sniper went into your last slot. But Epic didn't really comment on it or recognize it at all. But almost 4 years later, Epic actually implemented preferred item slots, and it was pretty much exactly the way that Reddit users created their concept. I think you all know about this one, so I've told the story a bunch of times, but Epic literally added a reference to our community, the SypherPK community. We decided we wanted a how to win book at the weather station, which was my most iconic chapter 2 drop spot, and they ended up adding it, but the book got removed when chapter 3 got introduced up until this season when Epic decided to bring it back into the game with the Stone family. Back in Season 1, Chapter 1, there was a really weird glitch with tires. You could get a lot of momentum if you stood on an object that was hit with a tire, and a player named JackZenn used a broken sign to fly across the entire map using this glitch. He posted it on Reddit and it only got 140 upvotes, but someone from Epic commented, "This has to be a record." A few updates later, Epic added a gravestone to that exact spot to commemorate this world record. That's not the only fan update involving tires. If you guys remember back in Season 1, Chapter 3, you could actually use tires to move objects that weren't supposed to be moved. A big one was the foundation statue itself. You could literally make the foundation fly across the entire map, and it was hilarious and created for some very funny moments. Epic ended up fixing this, and they loved the memes and decided to add stacks of tires all around the foundation. Here's something that new players probably didn't know. The Slurp Juice is a great item now. It heals 75 health or shield, but back in the day, it healed for 25 HP and 25 shield. So if you were at 100 health, it would only get you to 25 shield, and the HP healing wouldn't happen. But even though it was an epic rarity, it was kind of worse than a big pot, which gave you 50 shield like no matter what. So someone posted on the Reddit a suggestion to make it heal for 50 heals flat, whether you needed shields or heals, it would just give you the health you needed. An Epic employee commented, "Neat idea." In the first update of Season 5, they made the change for the Slurp Juice, and they even buffed the heal to heal you for 75 total, making it worthy of its epic rarity. This has to be the craziest thing that the community has ever changed in the game of Fortnite. And it would have a ripple effect for many seasons to come, and the entire Fortnite story basically shifted. Back in Season 3, players noticed something in the sky. There was a meteor that was getting bigger and bigger, and the entire community was scrambling to find out what's going on, what is this thing, and most importantly, what's it gonna hit? Eventually, people decided that it's gonna destroy Tilted Towers, the most likely spot, and people were freaking out that Tilted Towers was going to be destroyed. There was a giant hashtag on Twitter called #RipTilted. Donald Mustard works at Epic and directs the Fortnite story, and he did an interview a couple years ago, and he revealed something pretty crazy. So the community was right. They had planned for that meteor to hit Tilted Towers instead of Dusty. The giant crater, the trees, all of that, the hop rocks, it was going to be where Tilted is right now. But he saw the community's theories, and he decided, why not surprise us and divert expectations? And honestly, I'm actually much more happy that that was the situation, because it allowed us to play in Tilted Towers for many more seasons before it actually got destroyed. We as a community have a lot more influence on the game than we think. Check out this video on times Epic actually had to remove things because of the community.